come in the course of the day, and the first one due up is Highland against Glenrothes in the RBS Bowl. That starts in about 10 minutes' time.
A very good backline, not telling you too much. A very good backline, and we like to.
About that, how do you damp that down?
I think just saying to the guys just to enjoy it. I think we play our best rugby when we're relaxed and just enjoying playing rugby. So don't get complacent. Just go out there and do what we've been doing all season.
Kenny Christie of Glenrothes and Kevin Brown of Highland there, and you could hear the excitement in their voice.
Once again, if you've just joined us on this streamed commentary from the Broadwood Stadium in Cumbernauld of the RBS Finals day, welcome to our commentary box. I'm Bill Johnson, and alongside me here is Colin Gregor. If you're listening and you want to get in touch with us, you can do so by Twitter, and the address is @ScotlandTeam #RBS Finals. @ScotlandTeam #RBS Finals. Love to hear from you. We know that there's a massive following all over the world. Now then, here are your teams, and Highland and Glenrothes. Just have a quick look through these names. Highland's captain Kevin Brown, number 2 there, playing hooker. And the captain of the Glenrothes side, number 4, big Ryan Douglas, who's come back from a 6-month injury. During which time, Kenny Christie at number 8 has been the captain. And actually, Kenny Christie will be wearing 7 this morning. They've won their way through by winning their respective regional bowl competitions. In the case of Highland, it was the North Regional Bowl. Then they got through to the National Bowl semi-final, where they beat Uddingston by 27 points to 13. And for Glenrothes, they won the Midlands Regional Bowl. They got through to the National Bowl final semi, and there, well, they lost to St Boswell's, but of course we've heard the story of St Boswell's being disqualified from the competition, and that means that Glenrothes have taken their place. There you are, there's the graphic up again, the teams and the names of the players. All of these guys give such sterling service, of course, to their club throughout the season, not always in such warm and pleasant conditions overhead or indeed underfoot. Sometimes in the depths of winter with the glory of Glenrothes and Inverness. But there will be many people who have played at Canal Park up at Highland and at Carlton Park at Glenrothes, who will be watching this stream, this live television commentary coming to you from Cumbernauld. There's the bowl, and there are the teams just coming onto the field. Glenrothes in blue to the left, Highland in red and green to the right. Colin, a big moment for these players.
Yeah, absolutely. The highlight of their season, I've no doubt. It's a great opportunity for them to play at such a great venue, really enjoy their game of rugby, and hopefully come away with some silverware at the end of the day.
What a moment for these fellas. There they are, number 1 there for Glenrothes, Liam Fowlis. Number 5 alongside him is big Ross Hutchison. And the big number 8 there, Darrell Warrender. Scrum half, Michael Delory in picture. And that rather ferocious looking fellow with the black scrum cap just to the right of your picture there is Barry Crookston, black beard, former Scottish University's captain. So just these last seconds before kickoff, and the players, well, I was going to say they might be enjoying the warmth, but I don't know if enjoyment is right at the front of their minds at the moment. I think it's more the battle cry, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. I'm sure they're not all that aware of the climate just now. They're very focused on making sure that they get off to a good start in this bowl final.
I don't suppose Glasgow were saying as they went onto the field last night against Ulster, gosh, it's a nice night for a game of rugby. I think they'd have other things on their mind. So here we are, just seconds away from kickoff. Mike Adamson in the centre of the field. There he is in his referee's sort of pink outfit, is the referee for today. He's been assisted by Alex Pratt and Bob Nevins.
It's a big opportunity, for Mike to referee as well. He's obviously a former player that's just coming into the refereeing, but he seems to be doing well, and the SRU are keen to fast track him up the levels.
Young Stuart Haney gets this bowl final underway, then the first of 4 finals which will be played on this surface today. And it's Glenrothes who win the first contact and make the first spill. Just a wee bit of nerves there, and a wee pat in the back for big Liam Fowlis it was, who couldn't quite hold that early catch. There he is on the far side of the scrum with a sweatband on in the red jumper. First scrum of the game. And it's going to be Michael Delury for Glenrothes to put the ball into the scrummage. Some big men there, some 18 and 19 stoners there. Oh, and it's a great shove from Highland. That's almost like a shot across the bows of Glenrothes. Cameron Goodall takes it back into the heavy traffic. Highland have turned it over. Good ball. Duguid comes across for Glenrothes, and Kane Duguid had to scamper there, the Blues fullback, just to get that ball cleared away after the kick through by Highland. And it was big Gareth High who was the man responsible for that. Kevin Brown to throw. Came all the way through the youth system, did Kevin Brown. And there's some very disciplined mauling after the ruck by Highland in the red and green shirts to the left of picture. Driving Glenrothes back, a wee bit of an ominous sign. Here they go. Rory Cross in the middle of the field, taking it up. Good running there by Sinclair Patience. And again, Highland, Little, out it comes again. This is Rory Cross. Oh, this is going to be an opener here for Darren McLeod. That's a great score for Highland in the opening minutes here. Just a couple of minutes on the clock. And Highland go ahead with the first try of this bowl final. And the scorer was Darren McLeod. There he is.
Really, really good play from Highland there. Very simple that they obviously catch and drive the line out, break down in midfield, suck a couple of Glenrothes players in, and well noticed by Craig Little at scrum half to come back blindside, and then it was a simple case of hands to free the winger up, who had a run in from 30 metres or so.
Beautifully created try, very nice. Here it is again. Just talk us through this one, Colin. It was Rory Cross with the ball, and then...
Yeah, just great execution of the basic skills. That it was catch and pass, draw the defender in, and the winger will be absolutely delighted that he had a clear run to the line.
There you are, look, you see they put him in space and he had just a clear run, as Colin says, to the line. Nobody able to get within striking or tackling distance, really. Touchdown in the corner, 5-0 Highland, the conversion to come. Down in the shadow is Scott Fraser, the Highland standoff. Been their goal kicker all season. Let's see how he manages with this one. That looks very good indeed. Oh, that's great. It just crept over the bar, but that was a very good conversion there by Scott Fraser. And so Highland, after some 3 minutes, find themselves 7 points to 0 ahead in this RBS Bowl final at Broadwood Stadium in Cumbernauld. And once again, if you want to join us on Twitter, here's the Twitter address, @ScotlandTeam, #RBS Finals. We'd love to hear from you and see you getting in touch. It's @ScotlandTeam, #RBS Finals. So Glenrothes in the blue, playing right to left on your picture, get underway. Do good. Nice ball there, lovely one out to Delury. This is the big left winger, Stephen Varney. 15.5 stones of him, this lad, with a... There he is, just with these sort of orange boots and jogging back into position.
I think it's important now for Glenrothes just to calm down, sort of not worry too much about the score that they've just conceded. Obviously, there's still plenty of time left for them to get their hands on the ball and get a couple of scores. Just need to relax and not worry about chasing the game this early on.
Crookston gets the ball for Glenrothes from that Highland overthrow. Highland are rucking ferociously. That's yet another turnover for them, and away goes Craig Little, their scrum half. That's the Highland 10 metres line there. Here they go again. Kevin Brown, the captain, hooker, grey scrum cap on, takes it forward, steadies the ship. And Scott Fraser wallops it downfield right into the hands here of Kane Duguid, who's a very keen appetite for counter-attack by the looks of it. Glenrothes just beginning to get ball in hand and beginning to find a wee bit of confidence after the initial nerves. Here's Ross Hutchison, big second row lad, 6'5", 19.5 stones of him, and he's only 21. Slightly wild passing, then away goes Varney again. Knocked forward there by Highland. Scrum for Glenrothes.
Yeah, Highland are making Glenrothes work very hard at every single breakdown just to keep a hold of the ball. Glenrothes maybe have to commit a couple of extra players, which is just slowing their ball down and meaning they're a couple of numbers short with their attack. However, they almost got the ball to the space there, and you can see there's a bit of a threat in their back line as well. Their back three look like they're keen to run with the ball and really ask some questions of the Highland defence.
Michael Delory, 26-year-old, with this put into the scrum, almost on the halfway line there. Oh, there's a strike against the head. One up for Kevin Brown, Highland captain. Here come Highland again. Gosh, they're full of confidence. That's not such a good pass, though, from young Fraser. Aye, and he was asking too much of his centre there, I think, on that far side. The pass just dipping away from the catching hands. But Highland, they've got their attitude right. They've got their game together, and they look as though they're full of confidence. Yeah,
and ominous signs in the scrum for Glenrothes. I think that the first couple of scrums haven't gone as they would have liked. They were pushed back off one and lost that one against the head. So big scrum now for their front five in particular, try and reassert some authority here.
That bearded fellow on the right-hand side of the front row, this side of the front row for Glenrothes, is Liam Fowlis, who loves the dark arts of scrummaging. Delory under a bit of pressure from the Highland back row.
Delory tidied that up very well. It's not the sort of ball you want as a scrum half, but he made sure that Glenrothes kept the ball, and they obviously win a penalty now, and they can get down into Highland territory and hopefully go from there.
You'll have had your share of tidying up to do in your career, Colin, I dare say.
Once or twice, I think, yeah.
There we go. So way across on that lovely sunny side of Broadwood Stadium. Here's the line out then, and it's going to be Glenrothes to throw in. Gary Linton is the Glenrothes hooker. There he is with ball in hand. Super artificial surface here. I think it's a 4G surface they call it. And the players enjoying the dry conditions and the firm underfoot conditions. Up go the jumpers. Ryan Douglas, the Glenrothes captain, almost got a hand on that. Offside there. Glenrothes penalty to Highland.
That's a shame for Glenrothes there. That was their first chance of having the ball in Highland territory, and they just lost their line out there, so it's back to defending for them now.
And this kick will pin them back in their own half, and there they will have the line out to follow.
So, yeah, well, an important couple of minutes, I suppose, for Glenrothes, just again to calm down. Hopefully they can turn the ball over here, but if not, just defend well and keep out this Highland attack. Highland are looking very dangerous when they get through a couple of phases.
Mike Adamson just helping the players there as the referee in charge of this bowl final. Lovely take there by Gareth High. Here's the big fellas in midfield. Look at this one go. Stephen Murray and Sinclair Patience there. Glenrothes says Kenny Christie having to do an awful lot of tackling there, the team vice captain. Then Fraser, out it goes along to Rory Cross. Cross with a wee dummy. And a one-handed offload, bounced off the body. I think it was first knocked on by Glenrothes. Yes, it was. We bit harum-scarum at times as the players try to put the passes together. And I suppose initial nerves, here we are with some 9 minutes played in the first half. These nerves just beginning to sort of dissipate and disappear, and folk getting down to the task.
Yeah, and Highland, they will have enjoyed that big carry in the midfield there, a little offload to follow, which just shows that they've got the big guys with the subtle touches as well, which can pose so many questions to defences. So Glenrothes will need to be on their toes there, try and chop the big guys low and reset from there.
Craig Little pops it in. Kevin Brown strikes it back. Gareth High at number 8 has to do a bit of tidying up, and he knocks it on under pressure there from the Glenrothes boys. So that's just another wee shot across the bows that what you can do, I can do as well.
Yeah, Delory did well just to mess up Highland ball. It was a rock-solid scrum from Highland there, so they'll be a wee bit disappointed that they didn't make more of that attacking opportunity.
For those of you who may have just joined us for this coverage of the RBS Bowl Final, from Broadwood Stadium in Cumbernauld. There's the score at the top of your picture there. Glenrothes 0, Highland 7, and the Highland scorer was MacLeod. That was Darren MacLeod, and it was converted by Scott Fraser. Here go Glenrothes. Stevie Bell in the middle of it. Delory gets it out well. Oh, that's a thumping tackle there. Cameron Goodall poleaxed by Rory Cross there. Really good tackle. Delory again gets it out to the big men in midfield. Here's Darrell Warrender. Gareth High is right in the thick of it for Highland with that shaved head of his. Easy to sort him out. Here's Delory. Wee sniping run round the side. And then Goodall again. But an infringement there, didn't quite see what that one was. Maybe not rolling away after the tackle.
Ferocious Highland defence there. They're really not letting Glenrothes get any yards, so it's going to be a tough afternoon for Glenrothes. Tried to put a wee bit of air on the ball there, and there was a crunching tackle in the centre, so it's going to be, they just need to keep moving the big Highland pack around, and hopefully they'll tire at some point and some spaces can open up for them.
It's been a very good year for Highland this year. Last year they were in a bit of trouble and the club wasn't doing as well as they wanted. It was the players weren't achieving and so on and so forth. There was a bit of discontent, and David Carson came in as coach, and he's got them together, and they've got a very good system now. And of course the Highland have always had a good youth system up in Inverness. And there's evidence of the coaching there, because they've driven Glenrothes right back off that ball. Venters goes back for it for Glenrothes. Here he is, Ryan Venters, trying to get away from Craig Findlater. Oh, Glenrothes in trouble. McLaughlin there for Highland. Knocked on there by Highland, but advantaged. Stuart Haney managed to get it away.
Yeah, Highland, a team playing with a lot of confidence. They obviously won the Caledonia League 2 North title this year. I think they had a comfortable victory last weekend in the build-up, which is it's obviously just standing them in good stead, and they're just defensively really, really robust, and then they're looking to move Glenrothes around as well. So it's impressed with Highland so far.
They scored 1,079 points in their league games this season, which is an amazing total.
They seem to be scoring tries for fun, and I think had a little look in defensively. They don't concede all that many points either, so they've obviously got a really strong defence, which is a key cornerstone for most successful teams, and a bit of attacking threat as well.
But 1,000 points, my goodness! And when you look down their sort of wee pen pictures, you see that lots of them have got 20 tries plus 32 tries, and so on it goes. So obviously they know how to get across the whitewash, as they say, and it's stood them in good stead. But we pause for injury here. So Colin, in the opening 10 minutes or so, Highland have got the score. Do you feel they've had the better of the ebb and flow of the game at this moment in time?
Yeah, I'd agree with that. That they've been probably a bit stronger up front. So scrum time, they look to have a bit of a superiority on Glenrothes. And I think at the breakdown as well, they're making it really difficult for Glenrothes. So they've probably had a little bit more sort of territory as well. So Glenrothes will be feeling under a wee bit of pressure, but at the same time, it's only been that early score. So Glenrothes can take heart from that as well, that they've weathered the majority of this storm, and hopefully they can move up the field from here and sort of continue to improve.
Ryan Douglas and Ross Hutchison, the two big second row forwards for Glenrothes. We just saw them a second ago packing down as the water bottles come off, because it is a lovely morning here, and out there it's going to be very warm for the players, some of whom have got the well-fed look about them. They're carrying a few pounds with them as they scamper round this very firm surface. Lovely feed away there from Warrender to Delory. Here's Highland's Richard Sim. Here they go on the counter. Oh, and really hard engagement at the breakdown there, but the ball not coming. There it is now. James Taylor in the van there. And again, Scott Fraser feeding it out along the line. That's big Stephen Murray with a sweatband round his head. Very strong lad. Here he is, just getting up, shakes his head a bit ruefully.
Highland perfectly happy to keep ball in hand, having returned that kick from Glenrothes. They did well getting away from the scrum on their own line. It was a good clearing kick, but then a couple of phases from Highland, just again just using their big runners, asking Glenrothes to make the tackles, and now they get a shot at 3 points.
Now then, Scott Fraser converted the try earlier on, and here he is going to have a shot at a penalty goal. Now this is about 40 metres, and of course he has to use a wee plastic tee because the days of digging your heel in are just about gone nowadays.
I think he'd struggle on this surface to make any sort of divot anyway.
So here he is, young Scott Fraser, who converted Darren McLeod's try earlier on, looking to put Highland 10 points to 0 ahead. Always pulled that one away to the left. Nothing happening there. Picked up by Stephen Gray. Here go Glenrothes on the counter. Good steamrolling run by Warrender there, Darrell Warrender. Very eager number 8. Likes to run a bit. He scored 15 tries for them already this season. But most of the play has been off to our right, which has been the Glenrothes end. Yeah,
they obviously dealt with that kick that fell a little bit short. It's always dangerous when the ball bounces there, but they dealt with it well and cleared it away to halfway up their own half. So another defensive set coming up for Glenrothes, so they'll be keen to keep Highland out. Oh, they've stolen the line out.
Warrender again at the tail of the line out for Glenrothes. Then the wee chip over the top by Delory. Here's Duguid. Gray wallops it away downfield, sort of spiral kick, which has kind of outfoxed everybody in that Highland defence. Richard Sim gets away back for it eventually, and off his left foot finds touch. Very good kick too. Very good kick, right up to the Glenrothes 10. One or two spectators sitting in the sun there on the far side, just enjoying the warmth of this April Saturday. The whole of Scotland bathed in sunshine yesterday, and it looks as though it's going to be the same today, and it really has been a very pleasant start to the Easter weekend. Well, that's a great take by Ryan Douglas for Glenrothes. Here they come. Goodall with a wee run around. Chance here in the middle of the field. Can he get the ball out to Varney? Not this time. Here's Darrell Warrender again. This Glenrothes number 8 has done an awful lot of good work this morning, even in these early stages. And young Haney had to sort of duck his shoulder and turn his back at the opposition. Then he offloads to Hutchison. There's a pretty obvious steal there on the ground, I'm afraid, for Highland.
I think he was hoping he was the wrong side of the ruck from the referee there, but Mikey didn't miss that one. So chance for Glenrothes to clear their lines.
Eamon Ginnon was the culprit. Number 6 for Highland. Fraser infield. Here goes Sim. This lad can run a bit. Very nice play here. Great stuff on the far side. Findlater. Crookston is back for Glenrothes. Ooh, and it's just gone into touch in goal.
Great to see Highland having a counter-attack there, though. Glenrothes missing the touch off the penalty, and rather than just kicking the ball back, the Highland back three were more than happy to see what they could do in a counter-attack, and ultimately get a good reward from it. Unfortunate at the end with the kick going dead, but they've still, made it a good 30-40 yards.
That's the Glenrothes 10 metres line, that hatched line that you see just where the must have been a knock on there.
It was just the kick went dead, so they had an option to take the scrum back. Yeah,
where the last point of contact was.
Yeah.
Mike Delory has scored 10 tries for Glenrothes. There he is, popping the ball in. There's the feed out by Warrender. Oh, thumping tackle again. Tam McGowan.
Glenrothes did well just to get that ball out the scrum as quickly as they could so that Highland couldn't put any pressure on, but Highland just then got great line speed off their defensive set and forced the mistake from Glenrothes. It's another great opportunity to attack here for Highland. Got options either side of the pitch from this scrum in the midfield.
Craig Little, ball in hand. Mikey Adamson, the referee, off to his right, our left. Highland with a comfy strike and a wee nudge forward there. The pick up by High. This looks dangerous again. Here goes Richard Sim. It's going to be a second try. It's a second try. Maybe not. Darren McLeod, final pass forward. Oh. Yeah, I think the offload from Richard Sim just came out the hand a little bit forward. Another great attack though from Highland. They made the most of their opportunity with the midfield scrum. The Glenrothes defence split and they were really unfortunate not to finish it off with a try. Let me just update you on the Twitter address for those of you who like to get involved and communicate with each other and with this particular event. The Twitter address for today is @ScotlandTeam, hashtag RBS Finals Day. @ScotlandTeam, hashtag RBS Finals Day. And that should get you through, and you should be able to send your messages of approval or disapproval or comment or whatever. Under pressure again, Glenrothes, but that's an
excellent clearing kick.
Clearing kick, isn't it?
Yeah, the Highland defence, they were really making Glenrothes work to get the ball out of their own sort of 5-10 metres from their own line.
If it had been a forward, it would have been called an agricultural belt.
That's true, yes. We'll give it, I think it was the centre actually, the outside centre that hit it. And we'll give him, good enough connection.
It was a good kick because it's taken play almost outside the danger area, which is the 22. However, Highland have the throw in. Kevin Brown again. Up goes Gareth High, clean as you like. Oh, and right through the middle of the line out goes Sinclair Patience, this big lad who works in the Highland game circuit. Built like the discus thrower he is. Highland again. Good rugby. Scott Fraser along the line it goes. This is McGowan. McGowan, is he there? That's a good score for Highland. Tam McGowan, number 13 with the try. Highland 12 points to 0 ahead and looking very good at this stage.
Yeah, great try there. The pressure has been building on Glenrothes, and I think it was a matter of time before Highland broke them down, and Tam McGowan's the fortunate man that finished that score off.
Here he comes again. Look at the build-up. The lovely passing from the base of the scrum.
Yeah, you see just a really strong carry again. Sucked in 2-3 Glenrothes defenders. Gets well over the gain line. Excellent clear at the breakdown there. So ball's pretty quick for Highland just to move it away again. Simple rugby, but just really effective. Done really well. A little decoy run out the back there. And then it's just a little step off the left foot. Great strength and pace just to finish it off.
Former Scotland under-20s cap, Tam McGowan, and showing a good bit of pace there.
And a little bit of guile as well, I think, yeah, just to get over the line.
I like the long step that the scrum half took, which allowed him just to sweep the ball away as well. He had a very wide base.
Just meant that the pass really zipped out his hands, that there was no chance of Glenrothes getting anywhere near it.
Here's Scott Fraser wide out. That's a good shot. Will it make it? Ooh. Yes, it does. Well, his first one just scraped over the bar, and his second one has done likewise. That's a second successful conversion for Scott Fraser. That puts that puts Highland at 14 points to 0 ahead. They will be very happy at this stage in this bowl final. Here it is again. Look at that.
Weighted to perfection, one might say. Just
in and no more.
Did all it needed to do, so an extra 2 points for Highland.
Now there's a bit of friskiness in the Highland pack now. You sense that they've kind of settled to the task and got a couple of scores which are going to stand them in good stead. Here's Craig Little with a high Gario and into the sun. Bodies colliding, well taken by Dogood for Glenrothes. In the blue jerseys, Glenrothes. But another turnover again for Highland. Lovely wee offload there by Eamon Ginnon, who set up that last try so well. Cameron Goodall having to do a lot of tackling for Glenrothes in the middle of the field. Former Heriots and Kirkcaldy player. Do good at fullback. Oh, that's a good kick.
That's a very good kick. Yeah. Highland definitely beginning to apply a lot of pressure to Glenrothes, so that clearing kick, getting them back into the Highland half, will help the Glenrothes forwards, who are beginning to look a little bit tired. It's been a pretty physical encounter so far, and Highland have had a little bit of success at a couple of breakdowns, turning ball over. So
Ryan Douglas in the middle of the line out there with that red scrum cap on. Let's see if he can get a hold of this one. No, not this time. Has to go in and try to stop the Highland drive.
Given a little accidental offside, I think they sort of disengaged from them all and then into his own man. So lucky break for Glenrothes. Let's see if they can make the most of it.
Quite interesting coming to Broadwood this morning, because everybody was buzzing in anticipation of these finals, but there was a wee spring in the step as a result of that performance by Glasgow last night. It's funny how the sort of waves get right through the rugby community and everybody just gets a wee bit bounce in their step.
Yeah, definitely. Glasgow, it was emphatic the way they disposed of Ulster last night, and a real lift for Scottish rugby in general. And I think that the sun being out today just makes, you know, there's a great mood and atmosphere around Broadwood for this Cup Finals day.
Little again, dodging and weaving, trying to get away. Oh, a wee deft backhander to McLeod. And McLeod must have thought he was in for his second just a wee while ago, but the last pass was forward. Oh, Barry Crookston, your moment had come. Sadly not. There he is, this big bearded fellow with the black scrum cap. Number 6 for Glenrothes at the tail of the line out. We'll see him in just a second or two when the line out forms. Right at the tail of the line out he is. Gorgeous day, of course. Oh, and that's a fine jump there by Ryan Douglas. He was injured for 6 months this season and he's just come back not so long ago, but that was a real captain's jump in the line out. And look at the control on this maul after the line out. Very well done by Glenrothes, really well done. Tam Haney, their coach, will be pleased with that one. Here goes Crookston. And this is Darrell Warrender. Won a penalty to Glenrothes. Now, Colin, what do you do here? Do you take the kick at goal or do you go for touch and try to drive over?
Well, I think they might be tempted to go to the line out. The real success from that driving maul. We've seen that Highland have been on top in the forwards, but that's Glenrothes reasserting some authority with a really strong driving maul. I think technically they were spot on there, and yet they've gone to the line out, so they'll be looking to do the same thing again. They won the last line out, really accurate throw right at the top of the jump, so they'll be hoping to do that, and if they can drive Highland as far this time as they did last time, then they'll be over the line.
Gary Linton has to pick his target. Well, Ryan Douglas was the target at the last line out, took it beautifully. Let's see what Glenrothes can do here. They're trailing by 14 points. Ooh, just a wee overthrow. Highland have got it. Very alert at the tail of the line out. The Highland back row, Ginnon and High and Bryden. And then the clearing kick. Oh. And Steve Varney and Kane Duguid there, and a wee bit of a mix-up, and possibly the sun this morning in their eyes just a little bit as well.
Yeah, that's a real shame for Glenrothes that obviously Highland just asserted a bit of pressure on that line out, slight overthrow, and now they're back in their own half. Looking for the backs to have a go this time off this line out.
Here's Goodall, Cameron Goodall, as I say, used to play for Heriots and Kirkcaldy. He actually won the Shield with Kirkcaldy in 2002. And away they go again. This is Delory. Wee grubber kick through. Captain Kevin Brown for Highland to the rescue there. And you know, it's it's almost automatic that at the breakdown the ball comes back on the Highland side. Knock on by Glenrothes, advantage here. Here goes Rory Cross. What a lovely offload there to Little. Super stuff. Game still alive. Oh, referee almost thumped into the middle of it. Gareth High played scrum half. There was Richard Sim in the action, and here is Craig Findlater. Great tackling on the far side by Venters.
Certainly a tiring passage of play, that one. The ball going here, there and everywhere, and thought Findlater maybe had a little bit of room on the outside there, but he was well marshalled by the Glenrothes defence.
It's absolutely perfect for them that they've got such a nice day for this, because these teams battle through the depths of a Scottish winter to keep their team together, keep their success going and all the rest, and then you reach the sort of pinnacle of the season and you end up in a lovely sunny day at Cumbernauld on a lovely surface like this. Just reward, I think, for their efforts.
Absolutely, it's a great reward for them that we couldn't get a nicer day. It's a great Saturday. And their teams are putting on a spectacle, in fairness. That last passage, Highland started to get a couple of offloads going, moving the Glenrothes defence around, so the teams both seem to be settling into the day and really making the most of the opportunity to play on a good surface on a nice dry warm day.
Now I think we're going to see, are we seeing some subs? No, not at all, not yet. Good, giving these guys the opportunity to show what they can do. So back they go to the far side, and I think it's is it going to be a line out? Yes, it is. Gary Linton, the 36-year-old hooker for Glenrothes. In his youth and in his heyday, he used to be an international volleyball player for Scotland at under 18s level. So he should have good hands. There's the throw in. Looked as though a player was capsized in mid-air there. Somebody's gone down, I think it's big, is it Ross Hutchison? Ooh, took a loud one there. Yeah, and I think Bob Nevins across on the far side, the assistant referee, if we can maybe just see him on our shot, having a wee word with Mike Adams. And I did feel that one of the Glenrothes players, and I think Ross Hutchison was the one, number 4, there he is.
It's always dangerous taking someone in the air, so I think that the Highland defence, I think they maybe were going for the ball, but their arm obviously got caught with the Glenrothes guy and ended up bringing him down fairly unpleasantly. So, and I thought a penalty, little word there, I think, to the Highland culprit, and Glenrothes have a chance to get into Highland territory.
Yeah, it was Ross Hutchison, I think, who was on the receiving end of that illegal contact. Sean Gray with a kick, puts it away down the field. Young 21-year-old, he used to play rugby league for Scotland. Capped 5 times, this young lad at centre for Glenrothes. And by the time this afternoon's cup final, early evening, late afternoon comes around, of course a lot of these seats on the far side will be filled by spectators, because there's a full day of rugby here at Broadwood Stadium. Hutchison again for Glenrothes. Nice feed out there, and here's Warrender, this big lanky lad. 15 tries this season Darrell Warrender has scored, but Glenrothes still looking to open their account, with Highland leading by 14 points to 0.
Glenrothes is definitely building a little bit of momentum over the last 5-10 minutes or so. The Highland are losing their discipline a little bit, a couple of penalties on the bounce, so Glenrothes is building some pressure. Be great for them if they can get some points on the board just before half time.
I think it's great also to see the likes of Cameron Goodall, who's 36 now, still playing, Liam Fowlis at 31, and There was another one I saw earlier on. Richard Thompson at 34 tells me he's played 60 games for Glenrothes and has never scored a try. And he's hoping he can break his duck today, but his coach says he hasn't a chance.
Yeah, it's great that these guys obviously play for the love of the game.
They do.
The likes of Cammy Goodall's obviously played at Heriots. He's played at a good level, and being a Fife lad, I think he's obviously back at Glenrothes just enjoying playing. And as we said earlier, gets the reward for their hard work and their commitment with a day out like this down at Broadwood.
Here's Gary Linton with a throw. Oh, a wee steal there by Highland. Out it comes to Scott Fraser, and along the line it goes. This is Tam McGowan. Ooh, that kind of sliced.
Yeah, I was wondering if Highland were going to counter-attack there, and they probably wished they had, rather than that ball coming a bit off the side of the boot. And I guess pressure back on Highland. Glenrothes with a line out in their 22.
So a wee bit of an attacking opportunity here for Glenrothes this time, as they get the throw in. Oh, very nice by Mike Delory. Now Glenrothes have got a wee sniff here, and that's a lovely wee reverse pass from Delory to Warrender, but there was crossing over. Oh, Mike Adamson right on the spot.
He doesn't miss a trick, does he?
Probably done it himself many times.
Exactly, he knows what he's looking out for. So no, Delory's looking sharp around the breakdown. A couple of times he's taken a quick tap penalty as well. He's definitely asking questions of the fringe defence of this Highland team.
Immediate danger cleared then for Highland, who still have these two converted tries to their credit. The first by Darren McLeod, the second by Tam McGowan. Both of them converted by Scott Fraser. Both the conversions crawled over the crossbar. They just made it, but they made it. That was what mattered. Here goes big Eamon Ginnon. Big number 6 for Highland at the bottom of that melee there. And this is Sinclair Patience. You can tell that standout physique there and profile. Big burly man. As I said, he's a discus thrower on the Highland Games circuit. Do good. And that left foot of his, that's a better kick. And then a lovely wee sidestep. Here's Rory Cross. Oh, Cross has found a space, and he's got McLeod outside him. Oh, and McLeod couldn't take that wee offload out the back of the hand. There you are, Rory Cross, very dangerous with ball in hand, an up-and-coming young player.
Yeah, and I think he was saying there that he wanted his winger McLeod to come back on a cut with him as he ran towards the touchline. So a wee bit of lack of communication there, but great run. Looks really threatening, and Highland punishing Glenrothes basically for even only a slightly loose kick. It looked like it was a pretty good kick, but one missed tackle, and Highland are causing real problems for Glenrothes.
So there's the Glenrothes 22. Mike Delory pops it in. Gary Linton strikes back. Picked up there by Darrell Warrender, this big rangy number 8, who's had to do and has done a lot of good cleaning up work for Glenrothes. Then Delory again, over the top, into the sun. Oh, chance here for Glenrothes. The chase is on. Stuart Haney is there, so too is Cameron Goodall. They sniff the opportunity. Well, they've made a lot of territory, but they just couldn't get the bounce of the ball to favour them.
It all came from Darrell Warrender at the back of that scrum. Again, Highland putting the pressure on, but he tidied that up really well and reacted to the stray ball off the box kick, and they're now in a great position in the Highland 22.
Now, can Glenrothes keep this bit of momentum going here and see if they can get this line-out ball. Up they go, great deflection there by Hutchison. Oh, and Stuart Haney was just caught before he managed to get ball away. That was great work though by the Highland back row, and in particular there by Paddy Bryden, who was just last up onto his feet, number 7 in the red, off to the left of picture.
Just hunted down the Glenrothes fly half there. Stuart Haney, I think that they were looking at a sort of pre-called move there with the winger coming in, but the Bryden just shut that down before they had any sort of chance to work that out. So great play.
Is the turnover king. and I don't mean the pasties or the pies or anything like that, is the rugby turnover man. He wins lots of them for Highland, but there is Gareth High in a little bit of trouble. And Craig Little has to come to the rescue with a clearing kick.
Yeah, Highland did well to clear their lines there. Just been looking at the At Scotland team Twitter feed, and we've got a tweet coming in from Karen Tonks in North Carolina in the USA. She's watching live. She's wishing good luck to the Glens, presuming that's Glenrothes, saying still plenty of time for them to turn it around. So great to see that we're getting across to the States as well.
North Carolina, my goodness, welcome wherever you are. Enjoying your company here at Broadwood in Cumbernauld. All you exiles will be feeling just a wee bit moist-eyed when you're watching this and thinking of home and so on. But watch the rugby and enjoy the rugby, because this is a big day here for the Scottish club scene. Glenrothes, oh, what a deft wee pass there by Gray. Chance here, away out wide goes Venters. Can he get into the corner? Oh, he's just pushed into touch. That was a lovely piece of handling there by Glenrothes' back division.
Yeah, fantastic move. It's the first time that the wingers had the ball in any space, and he was really unlucky not to get in the corner. Just great cover defence from Highland.
There he is, Venters heading for the line, but it was an earlier wee pass there by Sean Gray which put him in that space, and he just got pushed into touch away in the corner. Can't quite see who got the tackle in, but it was vital for Highland as well.
Yeah, I think he saw the defence coming across and just realised he wasn't going to quite make it, so it's unfortunate for Glenrothes there.
Liam Fowlis for Glenrothes away on the far side. Number 1 there in the back of his blue jersey, you would say a man who was born to be a prop forward. But all the attributes, quite an aggressive. His coach was telling me, he says he's an angry man, but I don't believe that. I think it just means sort of feisty in terms of the combative sense. But he's got the right shape for a prop forward anyway. Yeah,
and you want them to have a bit of anger about them when it comes to the sort of nitty-gritties of the front row. So I'm sure off the pitch he's perfectly placid and nice. Great time for Glenrothes to score now. If they could just get a little score before half-time, put a little bit of pressure back on Highland.
It is indeed. We're into stoppage time at the end of the first half here, and here come Glenrothes. Cammy Goodall. Oh, and the pass, if it had gone there to Sean Gray, that could have been very good for Glenrothes. Stuart Haney with a wee knock on, but the whistle had gone. I think we'll be coming to about the last play of this first half. They've 39:56 I see away in the official clock on the far side of the field. And the scrummage, well, it's going to be a Highland ball, and I haven't seen Glenrothes have a strike against the head in this opening 40-minute period, but Highland have had one or two, and they've certainly looked very strong in the set piece. There's Craig Little with the put in. Kevin Brown, the captain, will be absolutely secure on that ball. Little manages to get it away to Scott Fraser. Fraser slices the kick. Still makes touch. And there's Mike Adamson blowing his whistle to indicate the end of the first 40 minutes. So Colin, come on, just take us through this first 40 and tell us how you feel the teams have performed and who have been noticeable and so on and so forth, and just sum it up for us.
Well, obviously Highland got off to the absolute perfect start with that score from Darren McLeod in the first couple of minutes, and they built a lot of pressure. But I think Glenrothes in the last 10-15 minutes of the half, they'll be quite happy with how they've come back into it. They're Tam McGowan scored a great second try for Highland, really put the pressure on Glenrothes, but that last 10 minutes or so was played a wee bit more in the Highland half. Saw the Glenrothes forwards with a really good driving maul at one point, so if they can try and get that up and running again, and then we saw a great run at the end by their right winger Ryan Venters, so if we can maybe see him with the ball in his hands a little bit more, then Glenrothes have got opportunities to come back into this game.
I don't know if we can have a replay of these first half tries or not at this stage, but maybe not. But see, here's the tries. Here are the tries. This is Darren McLeod's lovely handling.
Yeah, the forwards had done well in the build up to that, and it was great recognition that the space was back on the blind side, the change of attack, and as a winger, that's exactly what you want in the first couple of minutes of a final. you've got a 22-metre run in to the corner for the first score for your team.
And the last pass was in front of the catcher, and that is so important because you didn't have to break stride. So that was the opener then for Highland, Darren McLeod, and this first conversion scraped across the crossbar to give them a 7-0 lead after just a couple of minutes. But it took them another 20 before. Here's the conversion. Whoa, look at that. Oh,
it's just
a coat of paint.
Yeah, exactly. That's all you need. You know, he's maximum outcome from the minimum amount of effort required, so it's he'll be happy with that.
So that was the first try and conversion. That put Highland 7-0 ahead after just a couple of minutes. Took them another 20 minutes before they got this second try by Tam McGowan.
Yeah, this was off the back of a period of fairly sustained Highland pressure, and great ball carry into the heart of the Glenrothes defence, well over the gain line. Really sharp pass from the scrum half and the standoff, a little decoy run, and Tam McGowan, a little bit of a step off his left foot, just was all that was required, and he had the pace to get over the line.
Good handling as well. This is big Eamon Ginnon taking the ball in and setting it up. See how he's driven the Glenrothes forwards back, and then look at the support he gets from his teammates. Lovely base by the scrum half.
Yeah, and just Glenrothes trying to put a little bit of pressure on that 9-10 pass, but because Highland were so far over the gain line, it was always difficult for them, and great execution from Highland at the end to make sure that they were in a great position to score the try, and they went on and completed the play.
So that was 12-0 for Highland after 22 minutes. The conversion was still to come from away out wide on that far side. Here it is. Now watch this, because it doesn't get much closer than this. Oh, it's high, as they say, and it's long. Just.
It's almost a carbon copy of the first one. I think that one made it over by even less than the first kick. So yeah, he's got to be delighted. 2 touchline conversions that he's popped over. So maybe at the end of the day, that those 4 points might come back to be the difference.
So there we are, 14-0 at the end of the first half. Highland in the lead, looking very good. Down in the track with their hair combed and their smiles fixed are Jim Mason and Chris Patterson. Let's go down and join them for a bit of half-time chat.
Yeah, thanks, Bill. 14-0 to Highland in the first game of the day at Broadwood Stadium in Cumbernauld. This is RBS Finals Day. We've got 4 games live today. Chris Patterson's here for all 4. He'll be an emotional, physical wreck by the end of the day. This game, as I say, Highland 14, Glenrothes 0. We then have Caithness against Preston Lodge. In the women's final, it's Murrayfield Wanderers against Melrose. And in the main final, Glasgow Hawks against Heriots. We talked about the surface here, Chris, and we said it would be a fast game. It has been a fast game. It's been a good game. But Highland showing that they have quite a lot of power in their 15.
Yeah, a really good opening half, for a Cup Finals day. I thought Highland started particularly well. They had dominance in the set piece. 2 or 3 scrums early on were big scrums, one of which laid the platform for the first try for Darren McLeod. And then Glenrothes came back into it. They defended well. My worry for Glenrothes is that they're doing a lot of defending. Sean Gray in the midfield, he's built like me, just a slim guy, but my goodness, he's playing really, really well in defence. And with Barry Crooks, the number 6, they've brought their team back out of the game by their defence, and then an opportunity to score just at the end of the first half, unfortunately just tackled into touch for them. So Highland have had a lot of the pressure. They've dictated the speed of the game, but they're only 14 points up.
Highland have been watching the Sonny Bill video because they've had a couple of chances and they've been looking for the outrageous offload when it might have just been simpler to give the wee pass to put somebody in on the outside. So they've had their chances. Well, I watched their semi-final against Uddingston and they let Uddingston back into the game. So what do Highland need to do to keep a firm hold on it?
Well, they just have to do the simple things well. As you said, the opportunity again for Darren McLeod to be put free in his right-hand corner just from great play was judged to be forward because it didn't give the easy pass. It went for this, and it was really Mike Addison called to do the simple things well. When a team has so much possession and in many ways so much control of the first half, you can think you're further ahead than you are. In converse with Glenrothes, they've turned down 2 or 3 kickable opportunities, which I think is good to see because they want to get back into it. But they probably feel, Highland, that they're further ahead than they are in the scoreboard, so they have to get the little bits done well. In the semi-final against Uddingston, they raced to a lead with a strong wind behind them, but then the game was better in the second half. They played into the wind. They did allow Uddingston in. The wind had something to do with that, but then they saw the the game through in the last few minutes with a pick and go try. So they have the power to do that, but there's a lot more action to come with two teams who are relishing playing in this environment.
A strange yellow ball has appeared in the sky, and it's actually quite warm here in Cumbernauld now. We talked about the effect of the pitch on tired limbs.
Yeah.
How important are the benches going to be for both teams? Because it is hot, these guys will be putting everything into it and they're going to tire.
They will tire, of course. The emotional energy of being a final will tire them as well. And Barry Crookson, the number 6 I've mentioned already, I was asking the team manager, Glenrothes, he's a policeman, he's working a shift starting at 6 p.m. tonight, so whether he'll come off I'm not sure, but they will tire, of course they will, but that adrenaline to get you through to lift a trophy for your team will outweigh the tiredness. But the sun is out. I think it'll get warmer as the day goes on, and it's adding to a fantastic first half of rugby.
In terms of the 4 games we've got on, I mean, it's 4 great games of rugby, 4 cup finals. What do you think this day says about Scottish club rugby? Because it's a chance for the clubs to get together and just have a good day out.
It's a great day out, and at the core of it is the rugby. In the first half, as anything go by, it is good rugby. Probably playing above their level. Some mistakes, but every team makes mistakes. We watch international players make mistakes, but there have been mistakes here. But they've been within the game. There's been some great pieces of play as well. So the primary goal is for these guys to get the feeling of playing in a final and get that deserved, I suppose, accolades for reaching the final and going on to win it. But the crowd as well, they're getting behind their teams. They're really passionate about their team, the team they're supporting, and it's great. I think it's been a success bringing it here. It's a good venue, a great surface, with a lot more to come.
Let's go back to Glenrothes. They're 14-0 behind. As you said, they've had to do a lot of defending. Sometimes rugby is a game where that happens and there's no answer to it. But how do Glenrothes try to change the game? I think
not only have they defended a lot, they've probably lost the territory battle. Most of the game has been down in this right-hand half as we look at it on your screen. So Highland have been cute with that as well. They've dropped 2 or 3 players in the backfield, so any kicks that Glenrothes have tried to make, Highland have covered pretty well. So I think that they just need to try and control possession a bit better. Highland have been very good at the breakdown. Gareth High, the number 8, he's causing a lot of mischief at the breakdown for Highland. So that, as Colin Gregor said in commentary, means that Glenrothes have to put more players into the breakdown to secure the ball. And then if they do kick or if they do run, there's less support there. So better accuracy in the contact, which will allow them to find space, be it through the boot or keeping the ball in hand.
Kenny Christie, we spoke to him yesterday, did an interview with the Glenrothes player Kenny Christie, and he said that they hadn't had time to be nervous yet, because obviously they came into the final late compared to Highland. We've had to sit there for 2 weeks, twiddling their thumbs, waiting for the day to come. There doesn't look to have been a lot of nerves on display, though. The teams both settled pretty well.
I think so. Highland definitely started better, and again, the Glenrothes committee I was talking to said that it's been a trait of them to start slowly in games, but so I think Highland started better with the power of the set piece, but after the first 10 minutes it's a fairly even game, and I think Glenrothes will take pride in that. The one thing, if they've had to defend for so long, they may tire quicker, but in a cup final, who knows what will happen.
Okay, we're about to get run over by both teams as they come back onto the pitch for the second half. More from Chris and myself later, but first, Bill Johnson and Colin Gregor.
Jim, you should keep away from these big Highland prop forwards. They'll knock you flat on your back if they bang into you, but there we are. That's the Highland team back on the pitch, leading by 14 points to 0.
Just been having a look at the Twitter feed again over half time, and Lisa Martins is encouraging you to get supporting Wandies in the hashtag RBS Finals Day at 3:30 in Cumbernauld. She's also added another hashtag of Bring Beanie Home, obviously referring to the Ladies Cup final. And Rugby Lad is enjoying Highland's performance. Great performance from at Highland RFC so far. Great to see my old club doing so well.
Great stuff. Here's the Twitter address again. It is at Scotland Team hashtag RBS Finals Day. At Scotland Team hashtag RBS Finals Day. There you are, it's on your screen. And there's the kickoff, and that's a lovely take there by Glenrothes' Darryl Warrender. In fact, it was Ross Hutchison. It was the big lad. I mistook his number. So Glenrothes have a bit to do in this second half. They have the sun behind them. There's no appreciable wind here today to sort of damage the kicking or influence play. That's another very good kick by Richard Sim, finding touch on halfway. Or has it knocked on?
A horrible kick to take, that one from Richard Sim there, just kind of floating like a plastic bag in the breeze. So it was unfortunate for Glenrothes that they just knocked it on, because they dealt with that kickoff really well and were looking to apply a bit of pressure back onto Highland. So first scrum of the second half, I think there's a new hooker on for Glenrothes, so see if he makes much of a difference to the scrum time.
Here's the put in. Craig Little. Oh, and a penalty to Highland. Oh, that scrums down, and that we have to watch that nobody gets squeezed or hurt in that sort of collapsing area.
May count as a bit of a cliche, but the next 10 minutes, the sort of first 10 minutes of the second half, will be pretty important in this game. I think if Glenrothes get a score, get back into this game, then Highland might start feeling a little bit of pressure. Whereas if Highland get the first score of this half, I think that takes them, well ahead of Glenrothes.
It's a mountain for them to climb.
Yeah, it makes it a big ask for them. Yeah.
Okay, did you say there was another hooker on? Because I still see Gary Linton on down there at the front of the Glenrothes line-out.
I think I saw number 21 was on it.
Stephen Dean is a back, I think, if he does come on.
Yeah, I think that's him at inside centre.
Inside
actually,
centre,
carried ball well off that first kick-off of the half.
So it looks as though Cammy Goodall has gone off then. Or is that Cameron Goodall outside him? We'll sort it out. Colin will keep us up to date with the Twitters, the tweets. Meanwhile, throw in there by Kevin Brown. Beautifully taken by Gareth High. Oh, clean through goes Sinclair Patience. This big man takes an awful lot of stopping. What a great surge. And then round the narrow side by Little. Half a metre from Glenrothes' try line. Great position for Highland. Way down in the and a penalty to Highland. Colin, that was some rampaging run there by Sinclair Patience.
Great to see. Yeah, it was obviously a pre-called move that saw him a little bit, a sort of half yard of space at the back of the line out, and then he charged through it, and the old rampaging bull came to mind. That the fair play to the Glenrothes backline. I think pretty much all of them jumped on his back, but they managed to drag him down just a yard or two short of the line.
Stevie Dean is on for Glenrothes, the young 22-year-old midfield player. Meanwhile, Highland have taken that kick to touch, as you can see, and they will get the throw in. So here's Kevin Brown, captain of Highland. Gareth High has been absolutely dominant in the line-out today. Beautiful catching by the big man. Little waits at the base of this maul. There it goes. Oh, was there a bit of crossing there? Yes, I think so. Slight obstruction. And Mike Adamson, the referee, right on the spot to see that.
Good victory in that little battle for Glenrothes, under a lot of pressure at the beginning of the second half, but the backline applied a lot of line speed to Highland there, and I think that kind of spooked the Highland fly half, Scott Fraser, and instead of giving the pass, he ended up running behind his own player and getting penalised for crossing.
Glenrothes then just easing their way up to halfway. Stuart Haney at standoff there, first receiver. But the boys in the line have to do the work, and this time it goes Highland's way. Beautifully laid back there. Highland are well coached. And David Carson, their coach, has obviously put in an awful lot of work, but they've been very receptive to it. What a thump by Rory Cross there. And away go Highland again. McLaughlin, big Nathan McLaughlin. Used to play wing three-quarter when he was a schoolboy, but here he is as a lock forward. They're all jumping over each other and bashing on and full of vim and vigour. Cross again. Oh, what a dummy. Rory Cross. Lovely play. And the swerve. The inside feed. This is Richard Sim. Sim for the line. Brilliant try for Highland. That is a glorious score. That may well seal this game for them at 19 points to 0. What a try.
That was a fantastic try. Great run from Rory Cross there. He just glided through the gap, a little show and go, bit of strength as well, a wee handoff and a lovely little ball. Again, the forwards laid the platform, a couple of pick and goes that just sucked in a couple of Glenrothes defenders, and just a little outside line that took him past one. Great little sort of slow down, speed up, and then a great ball inside. And I suppose support was outstanding from the fullback as well. A little bit disappointing to see that sort of trip from Stuart Haney there, the Glenrothes fly half, which has he been punished accordingly for it?
I think he's in the sin bin. Is this him walking up below us? Here's the try again, Colin, from the camera behind the try line. Let's just watch this and see the angles of running.
Yeah, first of all, he did really well. He just let the ball drift across him, which took him outside the first tackle of Stephen Dean, and then great sort of outside break again, and support from the fullback from Richard Sim, and he finished it off well. He still had a bit to do, but showed some good pace.
And here's Scott Fraser with this conversion. Now let's see if he can make it 3 out of 3. Takes his time, just composes himself. Oh, I spoke too soon. That one's been pulled, as you can see. So there we are. 19 points to 0 then for Highland. Looking good, and that was without a doubt the try of the match so far.
Yeah, just
for me anyway.
Yeah, definitely. That the Rory Cross just looked like he enjoyed the firm surface underfoot, that he could use his footwork and a bit of pace as well, and a lovely little inside ball at the end, and great pace to finish it off from Richard Sim.
And their tries have come from good setup by the pack on all 3 occasions.
Yeah, they've been really, really physical, the Highland pack, and they've got them go forward when required. Again, that's another good run from Kevin Brown, their captain, who's really leading by example and still playing smart rugby as well. That it's they could maybe think that they're the Harlem Globetrotters now and sort of throw the ball around, enjoy the sunshine and on their backs when they're 19-0 up, but a couple of phases and then just put the ball in behind Glenrothes, still play the territory.
Well, there are no 4-try bonus points or anything like it, because this is cup rugby and winner takes all. It's bowl rugby in the case of this tie, because this is the RBS Bowl final. And at the moment, as we've been telling you, Highland are leading Glenrothes by 19 points to 0.
A little check of the Twitter feed again. We've got Stubby, or Grant Moses. He's supporting Caithness in the next game, but he's saying he's watching this in South Korea.
My
so
goodness.
we're getting all around the world, that's for sure.
North Carolina, South Korea. Where next? Will they be tweeting from Jedburgh, I wonder, or somewhere equally close? Maybe not. Anyways, there's a real buzz in the stands as well, as this main stand below us begins to fill up with spectators. And plenty of room in the far side, of course, but these folk across there, they may have the sun in their eyes, but they've got the warmth of this lovely forenoon sun. Glorious day here, and we've seen 3 very good tries from Highland.
Yeah, I think sitting out in the sunshine watching what is turning out to be a really entertaining game of rugby, so it's a great start to RBS Finals Day at Broadwood.
So all you exiles who are enjoying this coverage, which is brought to you by the Scottish Rugby Union TV, we hope you'll stay with us for, if not all of the day, then most of it. Great pick up there for Glenrothes by Sean Gray, almost. Young lad just knocking the ball into touch, but Highland beginning to get their confidence and looking as though they could puncture this Fife defence yet again. I'm looking at the size of Sinclair Patience down there. What is he? He's about 1, 2, 3 in the line out at the moment. Or is it going to be a scrummage? He's in the front row of the Reds on the far side. He is an enormous man.
Looks like he can shift a little bit too as well, though. Saw that at the beginning of the second half with his run through the back of the line out.
And it's one of the great things about the game of rugby that, you know, guys of all shapes and sizes can play club rugby. Big men, small men, guys who are heavier, guys who are lighter. Oh, and another charge down there.
It's difficult for Glenrothes with their fly half, Stuart Haney in the sin bin, so they've obviously not got a natural, maybe not a natural kicker, or also kind of someone to run their backline plays just now for the next sort of, what, 7-8 minutes he's probably still got in the sin bin.
Stephen Dean has come into the number 10 position. Just off camera there, but Glenrothes have ball. Now they need to drive this and make it really tidy. For Mike Delory, there he is. Good ball, good catch there by Findlater. And it goes to Sim, who scored that wonderful try just a few minutes ago. He can shift this laddie. He's outpaced Varney. Look at Sim go, and then the wee inside flick. Chance here to keep the ball in play. Just not quite. He's got a bit of pace at Richard Sim.
Yeah, took the opportunity to counter-attack from that great take from Findlater off the clearing kick from Delory, and I guess he just ran out of space. He was hoping for a couple of extra yards on the far side of the pitch so that he could get round the entire Glenrothes team and threw the little speculative offload back in rather than dying with the ball in touch. So yeah, another strong counter-attack from Highland though.
He's one of 3 PE teachers in this Highland team. There's Richard Sim at fullback, Tam McGowan at centre, Gareth High at number 8. And Sim, who was, you saw in that last shot doing the running, used to be a Scottish schools long jumper. That's a few years ago, but a memory to be treasured. What can Highland do from this? That was their 22 metres line. Nice wee switch inside, very good stuff here by Findlater. Oh, and Mike Adams whistles to indicate holding on after the tackle, so Glenrothes get the penalty.
Yeah, really good work from Cammy Goodall and Kenny Christie at that breakdown. Realised that Highland had isolated themselves a wee bit, and they were over ball very quickly and unmovable, and win the turnover.
Now, are they going for goal, or is this substitution time?
During this break, we've got another tweet.
Somebody injured on the far side as well, Mike. I think that's possibly why they've stopped as well.
Yeah, we've had another tweet in saying from Tyrell Divers, very good game and great try for Highland, watching from Toulouse. So we're definitely going all over the place with this feed.
Well, we just have to say bonjour.
Oui, oui.
So that's North Carolina, South Korea, Toulouse. Where next? Here's the Twitter address, @ScotlandTeam, #RBS Finals Day. There it is at the bottom of your screen there. 19-0 the score. 28 minutes to go in this second period. The Watermen have been and have gone. The game gets underway again. Glenrothes trying to get down into that area where they can hassle and harry and possibly create an error in the Highland play from which Glenrothes can score a try.
I think it's vital for Glenrothes here. Chris Patterson touched on it at half-time, saying about valuing the ball and looking after possession. So they're in a great position, so if they can keep a hold of this ball and really make the Highland defence work.
Ryan Douglas with a red scrum cap right at the heart of that catch, and now at the maul. Here go Glenrothes, heading for the corner, no chance there. Darrell Warrender there, and Paddy Bryden having a wee scrap for possession in touch. Just needing to cool it down a little bit, but very competitive, of course.
Another good drive from the Glenrothes forwards off that line out, and Delory at scrum half thought there was a wee chance to go blind, and he was close to getting there, but Highland were sharp enough with their defence just to tackle him into touch.
Highland replacement Craig Irvin I have as number 20. I think the team sheets may be saying something different, but that's what they were telling me when I spoke to them before kickoff. So that was big James Taylor, the Highland second row, number 4 in the back of that red and green jersey of his, having a bit
sortie there, a bit bringe, as they say down in the Borders. It's great. I always think it's a most expressive word, that, a bringe. Yeah, good Scots word.
I think Highland trying to show the Glenrothes forwards anything they can do, we can do as well, and winning a penalty from that driving maul, relieving a little bit of the pressure from them. So it'd be great if Glenrothes could steal this line out from Highland ball and maybe have a shot to attack.
Just there's the Glenrothes three-quarter line with Stevie Dean at standoff. Lovely take at the tail of the line out there by Paddy Bryden. Now Highland get the chance to show what they can do in the driving maul. The ball right at the back there, and now it's away from Craig Little. Sean Gray has to cover back, picks it up. Now can he get away here from Findlater? Well, Findlater's done very well to put the tackle in, so the young Gray in a bit of trouble there. Here it comes. Oh, and Dalori just kicking to touch after Glenrothes rescued the situation.
It's really smart play from Highland there, that they'd got another good drive on at the back of the line out, which was great execution of their line out, winning it at the tail, and smart play from Craig Little, just kicking the ball in behind Glenrothes, applying the pressure. You know, they're 19-0 up, they don't need to chase this game, they can just make Glenrothes play out from their own 22.
Lovely wee change of tactic there, a wee variation there, some work between Kevin Brown and big Sinclair Patience, trying the short throw to the front. Here goes Dalori again. Ryan Douglas goes in to help them. Here's Warrender. Oh, and he's been stripped of possession. That's very good there. Nathan McLaughlin just ripped it out of his hands.
It was unlucky for Sinclair Patience there that line out throw at the front was just a little bit too low for him. It would have been good to see him having another charge down the pitch.
It's an impressive sight. There he is. Oh, we've just lost him. But yeah, there he is again, just hands on hips. There he is, tucking his jersey into his shorts beside that muscular tummy of his, away in the far side of the front row.
Glenrothes back up to the full complement of 15 players now, so they've done well not to concede any points when they're with Stuart Haney having been in the sin bin for the last 10 minutes.
Highland have scored 3 excellent tries by Darren McLeod and Tam McGowan, and most recently by Richard Sim after half-time. Scott Fraser converted the first 2. Penalty here to Glenrothes. Not binding properly in the scrum by Highland. Sean Gray, young lad, big boot, good distance, up to halfway. So that's Stuart Haney back on at standoff for Glenrothes, and this is Gary Linton with the throw. Oh, and almost pinched there by Highland. It might have been a wee bit of a knock on, but here's Barry Crookson. Dalori, Haney, Goodall. Oh, Goodall's found it half a way through there. Now his forwards have got something to work on. Haney checks and comes back this way. That ball died, and Findlater did very well to catch it. Highland again with a turnover. Many times have they managed to turn that ball over or retain it. They've certainly had lots of turnovers in the first half. Here, here's Sinclair Patience. Irresistible force and immovable object come to mind there. And Highland get the scrummage.
I think Glenrothes, when they next get the ball, they're going to have to keep a hold of it a little bit more. They're still kicking, trying to get in behind Highland, but I think they're going to have to start chasing this game fairly soon. So I think I'd like to see them keep a hold of the ball. Maybe see Cammy Goodall with a couple of more sort of barnstorming runs and get the back row with the ball in hand, because they've made a few yards on occasions as well.
Glenrothes won their way through to this final by winning the RBS Midlands Regional Bowl, which took them through to the semi-final of this competition. And there they lost to St Boswell's, but as we know, St Boswell's were later disqualified from the competition for fielding players who were ineligible. And Highland have got through by winning the North Regional Bowl. That took them through to the RBS National Bowl semi-final, and there they beat Uddingston 27-13. Here come Glenrothes. A lovely wee slicing run by Glenrothes backs here, and big Darrell Warrender with the ball. Oh, and a sort of iffy pass, a speculative pass to Ewan Arthur, who's come on away across on that far side.
Great to see Glenrothes just up in the tempo of the game there. Delory with a quick tap penalty and drew the man very well there, and it was right decision from Warrender to carry it first, and then obviously at the stage where they need to force the game a little bit, so tried the sort of speculative offload, and unfortunately this time it just fell into touch.
And Highland again showing that togetherness and that forward discipline which David Carson has obviously drummed into them this season, driving them all away. Very good rugby there from the men from Inverness in the red and green strip.
Yeah, their forwards do look very well drilled. There a couple of times that they've driven the lineouts, they've done it well. Some of their lineout plays have been really sharp, and their sort of pick and go plays around the fringe of the breakdown have looked powerful as well.
And now it's Glenrothes' turn. Ryan Douglas provided ball. Here's Delory, the scrum half, right at the back of this maul. Needs a bit of help from one or two of his heavier teammates. In goes Steve Bell. Penalty awarded to Glenrothes. Here they go. Quick running here. This is Kenny Christie. Now can they get it wide? This is now Stevie Dean takes it on. Chance here for Glenrothes. Haney can go for the line. Can he make it? He's got there. Oh, do they need a replay? Oh, no. Try is given. Yeah, Mike Adamson, today's referee of this bowl final, gives the try. That was a try for Stuart Haney, and so it's now 19-5, still in favour of Highland, but Haney gets Glenrothes' first points on the board.
As with Highland's tries, it was set by the platform the forwards gave, and from that driving maul, and in the end it was a great outside break from Stuart Haney. Really good defence at the end from Highland that held the Haney up over the line, but the ball just popped loose, and well done Cammy Goodall, just picking and putting it down over the line. So not the hardest try he'll ever score, I wouldn't have thought.
I stand corrected, because it was, I thought Haney had got the score there, but is held up.
Yeah, initially great defence from Rory Cross just to stop him from scoring there.
So it's Goodall with the try. Cammy Goodall. And the conversion by Sean Gray. And so it's now 19 points to 7.
Glenrothes have made a couple of changes in the last few minutes, and whether these guys have helped pick up the tempo of their game, but they've definitely come back into this, and with 20 minutes still remaining, it's a great time to score and maybe ask a few questions, start planting a few seeds of doubt in the Highland minds.
Great to have 2 or 3 sets of fresh legs on the field, just wanting to get into the action.
Yeah, and that's one of the things with this surface. It does absorb a lot of the energy from the legs. So I think the benches could be fairly important in this game.
Another piece of possession lost by Glenrothes. Thumping tackle there by Steve Dean. Here goes Scott Fraser again, linking very well with the rest of his backs and his forwards. Sometimes he puts it out, sometimes he turns it in. And a penalty now to Highland. Now, will we go for goal here? This lad, Scott Fraser, number 10 on the back of his shirt there he is, has got had a measure of success today with 2 conversions out of 3. I wonder if he can get over by the width of a coat of paint. as he did the first 2 conversions.
I'm sure he'll be aiming to do that. Might want to put a little bit more on this one, but that was an important passage of play for Highland, that they've just kind of killed a little bit of Glenrothes' momentum from that score, just using their big forwards to carry the ball well, and then obviously win this penalty in front of the posts, which gives them a chance to just get a couple more points on the board.
Well, as we can see, this is right in the middle of the field and about 35 metres from the crossbar. So Scott Fraser for Highland. This would make it 22 points to 7 for Highland if he were to be successful. Just takes the time just to settle the nerves. Here he comes. Will he get a good strike in it? Or has he pulled it left again? I think it's gone left, as did his 3rd conversion attempt. So no success there for young Fraser. Glenrothes heave a sigh of relief. 19-7 the score. Goodall's try, Gray's conversion.
We've had a couple of tweets from some glamorous locations around the world. We've also got Gavin Turnbull watching the finals from sunny Methil.
There you go. North Carolina, South Korea, Peru and Methil. Wonderful. Well, it just shows you, doesn't it, the spread and the catchment of this type of coverage that we can put out.
Yeah, and it's great. It's great for the world to see such quality rugby that we're seeing live here.
People all over the world who are Scots exiles will be able to follow the fortunes of their clubs. Not just the national team, which they see at Murrayfield and so on, but their club teams, which they may have played for or favoured in their days when they were here in Scotland.
Again, Glenrothes opting to take the kick or go for a box kick there, which just drifted straight out. So I think that, reiterate my point from earlier, that I'd like to see them keep the ball in hand.
Coming on for Highland is number 17, young Stuart Watson. Played for Highland at under 18, and off comes Sinclair Patience, who's put in a lot of very good work for the Highland team today. Warmly applauded and cheered. Raises a fist in triumph.
Didn't expect to see him coming off to be replaced by an even bigger fellow. So it's,
no, I did not. Highland have spilled that one going forward, and it was off a very promising move as well.
Yeah, they just broke through the gain line and looking to get a little bit of quick ball there. So it was unfortunate that they'd spilt that ball. And gives Glenrothes another chance maybe to get back into Highland territory and apply a little bit of pressure.
So Stuart Watson now, this youngster who's just come on for Highland, is on the far side of the front row, which now reads Stephen Murray, Kevin Brown and Stuart Watson. Put in by Craig Little. Here comes this big fella, Gareth High. His father Colin used to play standoff for the North End Midlands as well, Colin High. And very good, very tidy player as well. It's going to be a penalty here, I think, for Highland. Here comes High again. Look at him rampaging. Head down, carrying the ball well. Then it comes out along the line. Taken on by Ginnon, Eamon Ginnon. And then out along the 3/4, McGowan. Chance here. Oh, this is going to be another score for Highland. Oh, what a tackle. That's a great tackle there by Sean Gray. Absolutely thumping tackle, decisive.
That's fantastic last-ditch defence from Glenrothes and Sean Gray. The forwards of Highland just sucking in the Glenrothes defence again. A couple of passes wide and then real pace down the outside there. But what textbook tackle here.
And it was David Titterington who was tackled. He's come on as a replacement for Highland, but what a clatter that was. The timing was perfect.
Oh yeah, just technically spot on as well, and obviously crunched the boy basically.
I mean, that was as good in every respect as Tommy Seymour's tackle on Tommy Bowe last night at Scotstoun, which was like an earthquake. I mean, it was just on the Richter scale.
Yeah, it was certainly a momentum shifter, wasn't it?
Wonderful, but that tackle for a club player who's a centre putting the man onto the touchline, timing it perfectly, stopping him absolutely in his tracks was a great piece of rugby.
Yeah, and Chris Patterson had said at half-time, Sean Gray, not the biggest of guys, but he punched well above his weight with that tackle there.
Glenrothes bring on some more replacements. Richard Thompson has come on. He's been helping me all week with information. This is a very good drive here by Highland. That looks like try number 4 for the men from Inverness. Difficult to see who it is.
That's just reward for the Highland pack. I think that they can all take a part of that try. That they've been really strong all game, really powerful, and made the most of the line out 5 metres from the Glenrothes line. Again, technically got into a great position with their body positions and moving the ball to the back of the maul. I think it's.
Well, I'm going to leave you to talk through this, Colin, because I don't know who scored the try.
Well, looks like James Taylor's maybe got the ball just now, so as they fragment away, is it him that just sneaks over?
Big walk forward, number 4.
If you could give it to the entire pack, I think they've deserved that one, but
we'll just have to put down try. Undecided about that one. It really is difficult to see away on the far side of the field. However, the announcer will no doubt tell us once he gets word from the pitch, and then we'll hear about it. Jim Mason is down in the touchline, so he might be able to tell us as well. Meanwhile, Colin.
No, I just think that's a really important try, obviously, at this stage in the game for Highland, that it takes them well into the lead again, and kind of Glenrothes' resistance may well, as another kick scrapes over, may well now be finished.
Scott Fraser has converted that try. 26 points to 7 now. Highland stretching away, looking very comfy in this RBS Bowl final. And young Scott Fraser, with that third conversion, which again just went over a wee bit more comfortably this time, is subbed off the field. He's done his part in this game. Here come Highland. Glenrothes up to do the tackling. Haney gets banged out the road. Tam McGowan, lovely. This is Rory Cross. Cross likes that wee dummy and the little sort of silky move on the outside.
Yeah, Glenrothes defended it well that time though, but he has looked dangerous all game. Another tweet coming through, this time from Adam Carter, saying, "Come on Glenrothes, watching from sunny Stenton." Glenrothes. So the theme is that anywhere in Scotland seems to be sunny anyway today.
Warrender for Glenrothes, taking the peel round the tail. They desperately need to get a try and get some momentum into this. Nice wee run round there. Oh, lovely sidestep by Sean Gray. Look at this. Here he comes. Good score coming up here. Or is there? That was Jonathan Grubb who was hauled down just short of the try line. But very good defence too by Highland, you have to say. Glenrothes should have scored from that.
Oh, really good attack. Again, Sean Gray, this time with ball in hand, looking very dangerous on the outside break. And Highland just get numbers to the scramble defence and managed to shut down the Glenrothes attack. However, it's come at a cost. I think maybe seen as a professional foul, is it, in slowing down the Glenrothes ball. And
oh, yellow card. Oh dear, oh dear. Now, is it Tam McGowan? I think it is. Yep. It's the Highland centre. Former Scotland under-20 cap, Dan McGowan, who has to spend the next 10 minutes in the sin bin. That will just about be his bowl final finished, because we've got 10 minutes left. And the big screen and the electronic clock away down to the far right-hand corner. Glenrothes right on Highland's try line and desperately trying to get some points out of this. It's all a bit messy as Highland have counter-rucked, but the scrummage put in is going to be to Glenrothes.
Highland did well defending there, just keeping Glenrothes out after the tap penalty and charge by the I think it was Barry Creakston who don't envy him going to work as a policeman, putting his shift in this evening, as Chris Patterson said at half-time. So it's a big ask for him.
It'll be a man of the match award at the end of this game, and Lee Jones, the former Selkirk player and former Edinburgh player and now with Glasgow, Lee Jones will be deciding who is to get the man of the match award, and that'll be one of the presentations at the end of this bowl final. So here's this very important look at the heave that Highland have got on there. Delory, chance here. This is nice running again by Gray. Good tackling though by Highland. Rock solid defence. Delory again. Steve Dean. Hutchison couldn't take it. Douglas rather. Here they come again round the corner. Delory looking for the big fella, Richard Thompson. Richard Thompson tells me he hasn't scored in the 60 games he's played. Will this be his day? Oh, what a nice wee flip inside. That is a super try there for Darrell Warrender. Made for him by Michael Delory, the scrum half, with a gorgeous reverse pass. And Darrell Warrender, just reward for all his hard work today. 26 points to 12. Highland still in the lead, but a very good Glenrothes try.
Yeah, they worked through the phases. They didn't panic. That the period of sustained pressure, and great inside ball from Delory. And as you said, Warrender, he's carried well all day. He's tidied up a lot of the back of the scrum for Glenrothes, and he finished off that score really well as well.
There's the try. We got the touchdown there, and here is the goal kicker, and it is Sean Gray. Was just pulled it a wee bit to the left, so no extra points coming from that. They've played 33 minutes in the second half, 7 to go, 14 points between the sides.
Seen some real quality tries today as well. There's been some individual brilliance, good teamwork as well. That one, a bit of both. That the Glenrothes forwards obviously went through the phases, and then a lovely little deft of hand from the scrum half Delory, and good strength from Warrender to finish it off.
David Carson just down in the touchline, out of shot there. You can't quite see him, but he's giving instructions as to who's to be subbed on and who's to come off. So both the Inverness Highland props have come off. That's Stephen Murray and Sinclair Patience, who came off a few minutes ago. That is caught by Ryan Douglas, the Glenrothes captain. You can see the beef and the weight of the Highland players. Amongst them, Stuart Watson, who is a very big lad indeed. And Highland will get the put into this scrummage. Just see what this... all the subs are on, of course, now, so trying to get the composition of the front row is a bit of a lottery, really. You've got Johnny Milton on loose head on our side, Kevin Brown in the centre, and Stuart Watson on the far side, the tight head. So it's a recast Highland front row. Still Craig Little at scrum half. Look at the strike, clear as you like, from Kevin Brown, the captain. Oh, and away goes the big fella, Gareth High. Highland looking for another try. They've scored 4 already. Good handling. Oh, Watson for the line. Can they stop him? Yes, they can. Alarm bells ringing in the Glenrothes defence, though. Oh, and a chance here for, is this Cammy Goodall? Goodall's got a long way to go. Great chase. Good tackle. Well led out there by Steve Dean. The chase is on. This is Ewan Arthur who's after it for Glenrothes, and this for Highland is Craig Findlater. Oh, just getting a wee bit fractious, and no need for that. Michael Byers bringing a bit of common sense there, the young 19-year-old with number 18 on the back of his shirt in the Highland line-out. Oh,
great work from Glenrothes there. You thought it was almost a try for Highland. If that last pass had gone to hand, they had a couple of men over on the far side. However, Glenrothes got the bounce of the ball, and Cammy Goodall, maybe not quite the pace that he used to have, but really exhausting passage of play, and great credit to both teams how well they've been going.
Captain's just having a wee word from the referee there, asking them to get their teams to keep their discipline.
You expect a bit of bite in a final day, so you know nothing too untoward.
No. And in all truth, the game's been played in very good spirit. That was a lovely take by Ryan Douglas again. Here goes Steve Dean, trying to cut through in a nice angle. I think Michael Delory's at the bottom of that. Scrum half at the bottom of a maul or a ruck. You ever get caught in a maul or a ruck, Colin?
Not if I can help it. Maybe by accident once or twice, but great defence there from Highland that they scragged Delory at the back of the breakdown, dragged him in and then turned over Glenrothes at the next phase.
Penalty then to Highland. Taken by number 20 for Highland, it's Craig Irvin. Yeah. Good kick, finding touch. Again, forcing Glenrothes back. They've now got a long way to go before they can get a try. We've seen 6 tries in this bowl final, 4 of them by Highland, by Darren McLeod, Tam McGowan, Richard Sim and Scott and we're not sure who the 4th one came from. And 2 by Glenrothes, 1 by Cammy Goodall and 1 by Darrell Warrender. Very good scores, all of them.
It's been a great start to finals day. It's been a really entertaining game. Both teams looking to play a bit of rugby and scoring some great tries out the back of it.
Here come Highland again. Michael Byers, I think that was, with ball in hand. Lovely pass there from the scrum half. Craig Little. And nothing coming of that move. Time just clock ticking down, less than 3 minutes to go, and a train goes away along the railway, away in the distance, about 3/4 of a mile away, taking passengers. I bet they wish they were here when they see the sunshine and the games going on. Kind of bouncing pass there by Michael Delory. Glenrothes off the scramble. That was very nicely done.
Looked like a little bit of a tired pass from Delory there. He's done a lot of running and hard work today, so he's understandably in this heat as well, he's a wee bit fatigued. But
this lad Sean Gray is a useful player, number 13 for Glenrothes. He's done lots of good things today. They haven't been able quite to score the tries today that they did in their preliminary stages of this competition, and indeed in the league, where they scored, 667 points in their league campaign. Glenrothes outdone, I have to say, by Highland, who scored 1,079. But here we are again with another chance for a try. Way out on the far side for Highland is Dave Titterington. Titterington is in. Another score. Try number 5 for Highland. 31 points to 12.
No substitute for raw pace. Maybe a little hint of crossing in the midfield there from Highland, but they got away with it, and what a great finish from Titterington.
He did, just stretched away, and
yeah, just Sean Gray was unlucky that time that he just I think it was just raw pace of Titterington, and Glenrothes couldn't quite cope with that.
Now the conversion to come, is it?
Hang on.
Or have we had it? Oh no, there's a not quite sure what's happening here.
A discussion between referee and an assistant referee, touch judge, what they call nowadays.
Oh, there's a protest. Right, there's some misdemeanor has come to the referee's attention, and he's not quite sure. He can down below. Michael Delory has the ball in hand, and it's no try. So Dave Titterington's moment in time in the morning papers has gone, I'm afraid. It's still 26 points to 12. And here's one of the lads who's really bust a gut today for Glenrothes, Darrell Warrender, taking it up again. Delory with a lovely break. Michael Delory, that's a great piece of rugby. And then the pick up and the drive on. Barry Crookston there. Oh, Gareth High knew exactly what to do with that. He was onside. Back goes Sean Gray for Glenrothes. Now he's got to get up, but he's, oops, over the top they go. Players falling all over the place, but that was very good by Gray. Delory has to do it all again. Thumping tackles by the Highland players in red. Really accepting the challenge and getting into the mood. Nice handling again. Here's big Ryan Douglas. Chance here for, is this Warrender again? Oh, and a pass to Crookston didn't go to hand. And you can see just wee elements of frustration and fatigue in the Glenrothes game.
Great cover tackle from James Taylor, the second row there, and for Highland. There was definite space out wide for Glenrothes, and they got the ball there, but James Taylor wasn't going to get beaten, and made a great tackle and forced the offload into touch from Glenrothes.
Kevin Brown with a throw in a minute. Just checking the line out codes, making sure. That sturdy figure at the front of the line out is Johnny Milton, number 16. Here they go up the front, twisting and turning. Eamon Ginnon, who's had a very good game for Highland today. Put in a power of work for them. Callum Carson now, son of the coach. And then the turnover for Glenrothes. Oh, that was a tired man's pass. Is there advantage? Here's advantage again. I think that was Richard Sim breaking away. Another chance. Craig Little. The ball, I think, just out of play. And there is full time. And so the result of the 2014 RBS Bowl final is a win for Highland over Glenrothes by 26 points to 12. So joy for Highland. Lovely setting at Cumbernauld in lovely conditions. And Colin Gregor, we've seen some great rugby.
Some very entertaining rugby, yeah. Right up until the end there, that there was no way Highland were just going to kick the ball out and end the game. They wanted to finish with another score. Scored four excellent tries themselves, and credit to Glenrothes, who were always behind in this game, but they kept going. They showed some good touches, scored a couple of great tries themselves as well.
So we'll have the presentation ceremony in just a few minutes, but for those of you who are watching online to this coverage from Cumbernauld, from Broadwood Stadium in Cumbernauld, let me tell you that the next game up will be the RBS Shield final. There's a wee gap between these two finals, but stay with us and enjoy the coverage. Glorious day here in Scotland, and most of the country is basking in warm sunshine today, and we've seen some very good rugby from these teams, Highland and Glenrothes. They've given everything they had. Now, if you want to join us on Twitter, once again, here's the Twitter address. It is @ScotlandTeam, hashtag RBS Finals Day. There you are, it's on your screen now, @ScotlandTeam, hashtag RBS Finals Day. And we've had people from all over the world, Peru and South Korea, North Carolina, Methil. So stay with us, keep in touch. We'll love to hear from you and how you're enjoying the coverage, and want to hear you support, want to see that you're supporting your team. So there's just a wee pause, Colin, while we get the platform sorted for the presentation, and that's going to be a big moment for the Highland players.
Yeah, a thoroughly deserved victory for Highland in that game. They obviously got off to the perfect start, scoring after a couple of minutes, and I think they probably had a little bit more physicality in the forwards. That their scrum was really strong, as we've mentioned. Their forwards were well drilled, a couple of excellent line-out moves, even that last one round the front of asking questions of the Glenrothes defence. And once they'd sucked in the Glenrothes defence, they were really sharp at recognising where the space was, and a couple of dangerous backs. That run from Rory Cross for Richard Sims' try in particular was a great moment, and they've played this game very well.
And you know, when you think back on the scores that the players have put on for us this morning, McLeod, McGowan, Sim and Fraser for Highland, McLeod, McGowan, Sim, and we don't yet know who got the fourth try, for Highland, and Goodall and Warrender. What's your pick? Sorry, put you on the spot a wee bit, but
well,
they were all good scores.
That's the thing, that they've, again, as I mentioned, that Rory Cross's run for Richard Sims' try and the pace that he showed to finish it off was probably the individual highlight. However, each of the tries had good moments.
Well, I see Jim Mason is down on the pitch there with Lee Jones, and I wonder if can we go down to Jim Mason just now and speak with Jim? This is for the man of the match presentation, and as you can see, he's got one of the Highland players alongside him. And we'll let Jim introduce that player to you. See all the family here today at Broadwood Stadium, and as the day progresses, of course, it gets warmer and hotter off the field and on the field, and everybody has a great sort of picnic and party time, winners and losers alike.
Yeah, I think that's what makes such a great day for this finals day. It's a great chance for people just to come out and enjoy rugby and celebrate the season.
Okay, I think we can go down to the pitch side now and join Jim Mason, who's with Lee Jones.
Well won there by Highland against Glenrothes in the RBS final. I'm joined by Lee Jones, Scotland international, and Rory Cross, the man of the match. I'm going to ask Lee, first of all. Lee, Rory with the man of the match award. What was it about his performance today that won him the award?
We thought he defended well all game. He put in a couple of try-saving tackles and made a couple of telling breaks. First and second half, set up the try in the second half, so pretty influential all round.
And for you, Rory, congratulations first of all, but a tremendous victory for Highland. How do you feel on this fast track? You must have put in a hard shift.
Absolutely delighted, but also absolutely knackered as well. Knees are a bit cut up as well, but just delighted. Okay. And no other words.
The song's already started from the Highland contingent behind you. What does it mean to the club, and what will that trip back be like?
Well, we set this as a target for the start of the season, so we're just delighted to meet that target, and it's just going to be a good party tonight, I think.
Okay, Rory Cross, man of the match in the RBS Ball final for Highland.
So there we are, Rory Cross presented or awarded the man of the match accolade. Next up will be the runners-up. Here's one of the scores that came in this game. Just look at this. That was, well, we thought it was young Haney who was going to get it, but actually he lost it over the line, and it was Cammy Goodall who got the try. That was Glenrothes' first try. Here's another one coming up. Look at the catch there by big Gareth High for Highland.
This is the unconfirmed scorer that just great, well-drilled execution of a driving line out from Highland, their entire forward pack.
You can see Highland there just pushing and driving them out the road. Where's the ball? Where is the ball? There's this man away down at the bottom here, I think, who's got the picture, just getting back up onto his feet. Oops, and we'll maybe see it better from behind, because this is the same try but from a different angle. And I think it's either James Taylor or Nathan McLaughlin. I think it's one of the second row forwards who's got it. You can see Highland there just
so difficult to defend. Once you get a little bit of momentum off a driving maul, then Glenrothes understandably fragment a little bit, and Highland just pick through the middle and score.
I think it was James Taylor, but we'll wait and see. Anyway, there was another very good score, that one for Glenrothes by Darryl Warrender. Now back down on the field, of course. The next thing in the presentation order of ceremony is the runners-up medals, and they are being presented there by Ian Rankin, who's Vice President of the SRU, and then Donald MacLeod to the right of picture, who's this year's President of the Scottish Rugby Union. So, a bit despondent and disappointed, Glenrothes boys, but they've played very, very well.
Yeah, they can definitely be proud of their effort. They've every single one of them has given their absolute all, and scored a couple of great tries in the second half. I guess that when it comes to the bit that Highland were probably just a slightly better team, a couple of a little bit more physicality, which made a big difference in terms of the quality of ball that they could get and unleash their dangerous backs off. But Glenrothes defended their hearts out. They attacked with all the vim and vigour that they could muster, and yeah, just unfortunate that they didn't have quite enough in the end.
Cammy Goodall receiving his medal there, and then the big fella Richard Thompson, Trading Standards officer, up in Fife. Here's Steve Bell. Don't know if the wee lassie was playing or not. And then Darrell Warrender, who put in a marvellous shift for Glenrothes today. Jordan Grubb, Stuart Haney, and Ross Hutchison. Only 21 years of age, 6'5" and 19 stone 6. And then the Glenrothes coaches, Tom Haney and his team managers and the people who help him get the team together. So a big day for Glenrothes, not successful on this occasion in the RBS Bowl final. Next up comes the man who was in control of the 80 minutes on the field, Mike Adamson. Gets his bowl final medal from Ian Rankin. And then next is Alex Pratt, there she is. And finally Bob Nevins. Fourth official was Kevin White today. Lots of smiles and handshakes and backslapping. So, and the officials just pause for the national press. And then up onto the podium come today's bowl winners. Highland Rugby Football Club from Inverness, led onto the platform by Richard Sim, the fullback, with a wee supporter there. And there are some sore bodies, guys hirpling and limping up onto that podium.
I think Rory Cross mentioned it in his little speech about the grass burns that you pick up from this artificial surface, so there'll be a few stinging knees and elbows as well, but definitely not as sore for the Highland guys having picked up the victory than for the poor Glenrothes boys. But yeah, sure it'll be a fun bus trip back up to Highland this afternoon.
Or this evening if they stay to see the Cup final
Of
between
course.
Glasgow Hawks and Heriots, which is due to kick off at 5:45 this evening. That's the fourth game on this surface. Paul Mitchell will be bringing you descriptive commentary of that. There's Tom McGowan getting his medal from Donald MacLeod this time, and there's the youngster Matt Allen. Like Nathan McLaughlin. Then Johnny Milton. Johnny Milton with that red hair, and then this big fella, Stuart Watson. Goodness me, imagine tackling him.
Really impressed with the teamwork of Highland throughout today, that in defence and attack, they every single one of them played really well and knew exactly what their role was within the team and how they worked. Yeah, Captain Kevin Brown, obviously an integral part of that as well, I think.
So they get themselves all set in the platform for the moment which really brings a marvellous climax to Highland's rugby season, because it's the presentation of the bowl by Donald MacLeod, the SRU president, to the Highland captain and hooker Kevin Brown. Here it comes. Let's watch the presentation. Here we are, right at the back of your picture, and the champagne flows. And Kevin Brown holds the bowl aloft. Somebody almost falls off the platform at the back, or the bowl separates into one or two pieces. But look at the joy on the Highland players' faces. Winners' medals round their necks. What a great day for them. A day in the sun in more ways than one. So the players joyously pass the bowl round, just letting everybody get a wee touch of it and make sure that they feel part of the occasion. There's the champers going into it.
I think they've earned a drink or two this afternoon, this evening, and no better thing to drink out of than the victorious trophy as well. That they'll enjoy sharing a drink or two.
And the guys in the green shirts are the support staff, the coaches, the managers, all the people who make it tick
They're the vital people in a rugby club that so often they're in the back, sort of behind the scenes, and don't get the credit and accolade that they deserve. But I'm sure every one of those Highland players will appreciate the work that those guys do.
So well done then. Highland are the 2014 RBS Bowl winners.
On the official YouTube channel at Scottish Rugby Online. So catch a quick interview with Tim in a few seconds on the pitch.
Kevin Brown, the victorious Highland captain. First, before we talk about Highland's performance, a word about Glenrothes and the effort and determination they displayed today.
Yeah, no, Glenrothes were brilliant today. They fought right to the end. It was clear they wanted it themselves, but lucky for us, we were just a little bit better today. But no, credit to them guys, they did really work hard today.
You had a longer period of time to wait for this final than Glenrothes did. Display, the display you put on today, what was key for Highland?
I think just keeping calm, I think, and just enjoying what we're doing. We've been working hard all season, so just keep things ticking over like we have been all season and winning games. So yeah, quite happy with that. Yeah.
You've brought a good support down today as well. What does it mean to the whole club, not just the team?
Yeah, it's a massive thing for the club. We obviously got here in 2006 and never won it, so. Today, that's the club delighted, yeah, absolutely brilliant with it.
And a bit warmer than it was in Uddingston for the semi.
I'm roasting today, it was really hard going, but yeah, roasting, so it was good rugby to play. So,
what's the plans for the trip home?
Hey, we've got a party at the club tonight, celebrate the win, so hopefully as many people are going to get there. Yeah! So, good trip up the road, good 3.5 hours, so we'll enjoy it.
Okay. Kevin Brown, thanks very much. We'll be back at 1:05 for the build-up to the second match of the day, which will be Preston Lodge against Caithness.
That's the big next. So a big welcome to the listeners who just joined us at Broadwood Stadium. Next up is the Shield final of Caithness, the Preston Lodge.